All right, yeah. So today is a research stream, just research, no pre show or show today, just a research stream. So I had I had four choices to choose from. No, actually three. So I had three choices to choose from. One was Father Khatri saying or telling Boyd to open up Jade's door, and this is for a show called From on MGM Plus Amazon Prime. In case you're new here, so the first topic choice was Father Khatri saying open Jade's door to Boyd, and how that's kind of like different than how he's been. That's actually the question we're going to answer today is what is the goal of Vision Khatri? The other choices were Fatima's golem and Sophia putting blood in Martin's glass. So the reason why I didn't go with Fatima's golem is that when it comes to making videos, I try to focus on what's in the show. And I know a lot of people in the comment section and maybe other content creators, they have went outside of From to explain Fatima's golem, and nothing wrong with that. I say more power to you. But as far as myself, when you think about the scenes where Fatima's making the golem, the only thing that we had to go on besides the finished product of the golem, or what we think is the finished product after episode 6, is what Fatima said, which was kind of like the inspiration for making the golem, and that is her father, paraphrasing, saying that you got to believe in something to make you stronger or something like that. So we only really have two things to go off of for Fatima's golem, and that is what she said as far as her dad and the finished product. So for Fatima's golem, I personally need to see it more on the show to know what it is and how it's going to operate. Because you could say, well, Fatima's golem is this and that, and then it's like, well, you're getting information outside of From the television show, and you might be right, or you may be overshooting. So for Fatima's golem, I didn't want to make that for today as far as research, because I need the show to do more as far as what that's going to be about before having a conversation about Fatima's golem. And then also with Sophia putting her blood in Henry's drink. So we saw it on the trailer that Henry's going to have hallucinations, and one of them is going to be associated with when he was in the ambulance, and they were using the flashlight to check his eyes. So besides that, there's not really much else that we can say Sophia is going to do with her blood or what the effect will be, because Sophia has touched Marielle to cause Marielle to have hallucinations, but we've never seen Sophia use her actual blood. So for that, I think we need to see more on the show to come up with a conclusion as far as that. And so all that was left over was Father Khatri saying to open Jay's door, which is odd because Father Khatri has been talking Boyd out of taking risks, but now is talking Boyd into opening up this red door in the bottom of Colony House. So the question for today is, what is the goal of Vision Khatri? And we will we're going to do two preliminary things before diving into that. First is going to be some of the press photos for episode 7. We'll go through those because there's actually like a it kind of tells us something else that's going on in the trailer that we saw. And then the other thing is looking at the fact that what Sophia said to Henry is the same thing that Boyd says thinking out loud, which mirrors Martin And it kind of, in my opinion, furthers the idea that Martin, when meeting Boyd, was in the future. So first we'll go through the press photos, then we'll go into all that. Then we'll try to answer the question of as far as what is the goal of Father Khatri. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the research stream. Amanda Kenny in the house. Face You Dig. What's up? Jessica Newberry has made it. Welcome. Also, I see Milan Johnson and House of Mystics. Says great day, evening, fam. Yeah, welcome. Great day. And that's really all I see right now. So hello, everybody. Hello. So Jessica Newberry says, I read on ChatGPT about Sophia's blood, and it said it may not really be blood, but it appears to fans that it is. I mean, it came, okay. So Sophia cut, matter of fact, we'll go through the press photos and then we'll look at the action. It's coming from Sophia's hand. So we'll look at that. Yeah, you can't trust ChatGPT because, I mean, it's coming from Sophia's actual hand and it looks red. So it looks like it's blood to me. So, okay, so going through these press photos, and this again is for episode 7, Best Laid Plan. So we see that one of the photos has Tabitha and Ethan. I guess they're looking at Miranda's vehicle that she came in with. I'm assuming, maybe not. And then Victor, Tabitha, and Ethan are looking at what appears to be the man in yellow's vehicle. And so Victor had found in the trailer, we see that Victor found like a hex bag or a bag full of maybe teeth or bones or something. He has a bag. We don't know what's in it. I'm assuming it's maybe teeth. Well, we see Tabitha, what appears to be either sitting or maybe sitting on the side, and her and Ethan may stay in the vehicle graveyard while Victor goes back, I guess, to the township with what he's discovered. And because Ethan's out there with him, he may be going... Maybe he's going to go talk to Boyd. Maybe Victor remembers something and he's going to go talk to Boyd. Yeah, Face Your Dig says Tabitha's in the cut lurking. Yeah. So Milan says, yes, the teeth bag was so odd, but he took the priest's teeth in the hospital or the clinic. Maybe that's another way he can transform. It could be. Yeah, Victor does look like he's a man on a mission. So he's got the bag in hand that we see, and we see in the trailer that he found the bag in the glove box. And Ethan asks maybe Victor or Tabitha, what clues are we looking for? So Victor's found a clue. He may have a flashback, and I think he may be going to talk to Boyd. And the reason why I say Boyd is because Victor has expressed that he regrets telling Henry what happened to Miranda. So Henry's out of it. I think Henry is not going to get any other information from Victor, which is fair enough. So besides Tabitha and Ethan, the only other person that Victor would talk to that I would think of would be Boyd. Unless he's going to recreate the whole Sarah's the scariest person in town and he wants to go through secrets with Sarah again, which I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll talk to Boyd because Boyd asked Victor while Victor was on the roof of Colony House if Victor can remember anything as far as the man in yellow, and Victor said he'll try. Next thing you know, he's drawing, and Ethan came in there and drew with him. So I'm assuming Victor remembered something and is going to go tell or report to Boyd. And that may be the reason why they don't open the door. I don't think they're going to open the door till episode 9. And the reason I say that is because of the synopsis that we've been given as far as the episodes. So when looking at the episode description, when going to best laid plans, the description says Tabitha and Jade's dark past surfaces while another town resident faces trouble. So I think the resident that faces trouble is going to be Henry because he consumed Sophia's blood. And Boyd plans to test a risky theory. I think Boyd's going to pitch to the people in Colony House what he plans to do as far as the door. And so Tabitha and Jade's dark past surfaces. I mean, the dark past may be that I personally think is that Tabitha and Jade were with the original townspeople until they changed their mind, and they're being reincarnated, I think, by the township in hopes they fulfill their oath and fulfill their end of the bargain. Because even though we know that the original townspeople got eternal life by sacrificing their teddy bears, there may have been something else or other things that these original townspeople were trying to do, and Jade and Tabitha maybe needed to do it. So they're being reincarnated over and over again until they do that. But I think they keep trying to save the children and they die, and then they get reincarnated. Because if you think about it, okay, I think when a previous version of Jade or Tabitha figure out some way to do something different as far as when they remember their previous lives, the townspeople kill Jade, the evil side or the monsters kill Miranda. And that may be the reason why Smiley ran after Miranda, because Miranda may have remembered previous life and found a new place to go, but not the red door. So the red door is a new place to go. And I think once the monsters realize that they found a new place to go, the monsters are going to start ramping up, terrorizing people. So they're walking because you have nowhere to go. But once you find a new place on the chessboard to go, I think the monsters are going to start ramping things up, including running. So whatever Miranda found was not including the red door, and I don't think it included the faraway tree either, because she was running and ran into the faraway tree when Smiley ran and jumped on her. So I think Boyd is going to try to sell the idea to the people in Colony House, and it's just going to be a lot of them are going to be like, nah, I'm not really with it. So Tabitha and Jade's dark past surfaces, and so that is best laid plans. Then heavy as the head synopsis is a dangerous plan begins to take shape. How much is Boyd willing to risk for the chance to get everyone home? Fatima and Henry find themselves at two very different and disturbing crossroads. So with Henry, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming he's having hallucinations because of the blood from Sophia, but what could the crossroads be? And then Victor helps Tabitha and Ethan prepare for the worst. So it could be that Victor remembers something when he was a child, and Tabitha and Ethan maybe maybe they're going to experience what Victor experienced as a child. But Fatima and Henry being at two different disturbing crossroads, I don't know. I don't know. All right, and so then the calm before, maybe they're going to open up this red door. The residents of town stand at a crossroads unlike any they faced before as Boyd sets a daring and dangerous plan in motion. So I think they're going to actually open up the red door. And so what I'm guessing is episode 7 and 8 will focus on Boyd doing talking, but people actually doing stuff, maybe like Julie story walking, maybe Victor remembering the man in yellow, Sophia doing mischievous stuff. I think it's gonna be some filler episodes, and then if a tree falls in the forest, so a tree falls in the forest is based off of the philosophical thought idea. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. So that may be talking about them chopping down a faraway tree. I don't know, but the synopsis is Boyd's quest to lead the residents home reaches a terrifying crossroads, and nothing will ever be the same again. So some of these the trailers have been lying, the synopsises have been kind of misleading. You really can't trust anything that's telling you about stuff in the future. So Facia Diggs says, did the boy in white actually say the children had to be saved, or did Victor just hear that part and is misremembering? So the boy in white, I mean, according to Victor, regurgitating what the boy in white said. So what Victor said was hearsay. You can't trust Victor, but the boy in white said to save the children, you got to go through the tree. So Victor may have misremembered that statement about going through the tree to save the children. For all we know, that may have been an hour-long conversation, maybe even multiple conversations, but Victor only remembers bits and pieces and maybe even misremembering that. Okay, so Miss Win LS says, I'm driving, so listening. So Michael Sullivan says, no one told the creatures that season 4 have started. Well, they kind of got their day in the sun or in the dark with Sophia and Yellow going outside of the clinic, and two monsters showed up. So Milan says, that's where we need Julie to story walk back to. Well, she can't even control the story walking. So it's almost like she's been getting lucky. Or maybe she's story walking to, I don't know, because she went to the dungeon and threw Boyd the rope, it may be that she's going either to where there's a problem or a death. That's what I'm thinking so far, because the times when she story walked, she really hasn't gone to a point in, let's say, the timeline where people are just kind of like chilling. Julie has not story walked to a day that we normally see on the show, where people are just talking and nothing is actually happening. Every time she story walks, there's an event where people are faced with a troubling situation or people have died. So House of Mystic says Sophia and her family look like the Bees G's, if that's the correct picture I'm looking at. So Facia Diggs says, so Victor had everyone thinking you have to save the children, but the children are only saying remember. Yeah, so the children are saying Nkui to Jade and Tabitha, but Henry did tell Tabitha that Miranda, after having the acid trip and had visions, that she was drawn to save the children. So the save the children thing may have just been during her cycle, because the boy in white who is currently there, has not mentioned Save the Children. And when pushing Tabitha out of the lighthouse and she went to Maine, I guess we're assuming it was to go get Henry and Acosta or whatever, but it may be that, like, if you believe in the idea of cycles, that some things are cycle specific. Okay, so that's Victor. And then this is Boyd talking to everybody, laying out, I guess, the plan. And then look who you got right there. Sophia in yellow. Where's Waldo? That's Sophia in yellow, listening, being a part of the team. And I don't know if they're actually doing this or not, but I think it would be like awesome if the writers have the monsters intermingled with everybody during the day. But then again, how can you do that? Because I'm sure at nighttime, people are going to be like, hey, where's Spade at? Wasn't he here earlier? Where did he go? Maybe he's in town. I'm sure that, like, if people are hanging around, it's kind of hard to just go missing. But Sophia just being a part of the team and just listening on. Oh man, this reminds me of back when I used to work at a grocery store, and you would have people there who were like rats and spies. You could have they could just walk up to you and mention something to you, and they're listening to what you have to say. Now, I always knew everybody was basically like a parrot. So I would always watch what I say, and I would either be like, I don't know. And then, I would witness people be getting told on and fired left and right. And I'm like, dang, everybody dropping like flies. No, because I knew and everybody else knew, and it later was revealed that we had rats and we had snitches in the mist. So Sophia's right there soaking up the game, seeing what y'all gonna do, because she's going to run her offense off of your defense, or she's going to build her defense off of your offense. It's almost like she's sitting there looking at the playbook while you're picking your play. What's going on, Michelle Williams? How are you? Welcome. Red Star 24, welcome. All right, so that's that picture. And then Henry, I think Henry's going to have a bunch of hallucinations because of this consumption of blood. But I think it's going to eventually go away and work itself out from him seeing stuff, because eventually it's going to, leave his system. And that's the Lonely Hunter. So I think that's what's going on with these press photos is Henry's going to be suffering from stuff, and it's going to just go away, and then it's going to be like, oh, well, nothing to see here, no big deal. All right, so that's that. And then, okay, so I think somebody... Okay, you know what? Okay, here's what we'll do. I'm gonna get to the two parts that mention Sophia saying what Henry has said while Boyd was in the cave, and then I'll play the part where Boyd basically... Take this down. Yeah, I think when Sophia said the part about it's all just a dream, I think that combined with what Boyd was saying when Father Khatri was talking to him. I think those are just callbacks to what Martin was saying. So when Boyd was talking to Martin in the dungeon, I believe Martin's in the future, because Martin's talking about nightmares in the forest. Oh no, darkness in the forest, nightmares you couldn't begin to believe, things you're never meant to see, and all that. And while we've been watching the show, I'm like, I haven't seen any type of darkness in the forest. Didn't Boyd and Sarah spend the night out there and they were good? So I think Martin was referring to the future where he was, and I think when Sophia mentions it to Henry, that it's somewhat a callback to what Martin was saying, letting us know that we're about to see the nightmares in the forest. And that's the reason why Boyd says it and why Sophia says it to Martin, in my opinion. Okay, so I think somebody asked, was it really Sophia's blood? So here we go. So remember, Sophia already cut her hand. She already cut her hand. This is the cut. This is the injury right here. She sees that Henry's back is turned, plus he's tipsy. All right, so this is Sophia. Up. Puts her thumb down. Yeah, definitely puts it in his drink. So hopefully that answers the question when Chat GPT says maybe it wasn't really blood. I think it's definitely blood. I think it's definitely Sophia's blood being dripped into Henry's drink right there. So I think at that point, yeah, it's a definite, yeah, that's, she done spiked his drink. And there's that. And you can kind of tell that she spiked the drink. Because of how she's looking. So, look at how Sophia's looking. She looks at the drink, looking like, yeah, I've just put a roofie in there. All right, let's listen. All right, he took the roofie. So that should answer everything you believe as far as that. Now, you see Henry take the drink. And so while Henry is inebriated, now we get this scene right here.
You know, we're trapped in a town we can't escape from. Surrounded by monsters that come from the forest at night. None of it feels real, does it? Have you ever wondered if maybe this is all just a dream?
So I think that was for us, the audience, not for Henry. Even though she's saying it to Henry, I think that was for us, the audience. Because in the same episode, episode 6, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, Sophia says this to Martin. Sophia says this to Henry, which is the same thing that Martin said to Boyd. And if when going a little bit further in the episode, like, okay, I'm gonna show y'all in real time. So you see, she just said this to Henry. And now the actor playing Henry has no more lines, so he's just staring at her. So we got the Martin reference from Sophia. The next scene is Boyd coming out here, doing the old man walk. And now Boyd is having a conversation with Father Khatri And Father Khatri is going to continue to try to influence Boyd to focus on this door.
It's just too bad about Roger.
You can't let me have a fucking minute, can you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Take as much time as you need. I'm sure it's fine. It's not as though murderous dolls climbed out of a lake and attacked your people.
Yeah. So Father Khatri, Vision Khatri is using Roger being killed by murderous dolls to somewhat make Boyd focus on this wall and this door expeditiously. So it's called creating a sense of urgency.
All right. What Tabitha said about people's fears, the nightmares becoming part of the forest after they die. Is that true?
I think it might be, yeah.
Whoa! Father Khatri done gave like an actual answer. Because the subject is this red door.
Tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear. That's what Martin said to Boyd when referring to the monsters.
What's that?
This guy named Martin once told me that those...
Whoa. This right here confirms that that Father Khatri is not a figment of his imagination. Because if Father Khatri or Vision Khatri was a figment of Boyd's imagination, Vision Khatri would have already known that comment is by what was from Martin talking to Boyd.
Tip of the spear.
What's that?
This guy named Martin once told me that those things that come out at night, they're just the tip of the spear.
Right there. So we had Sophia in yellow talking to Henry in the previous scene and says to Henry, "Do you think it's all just a dream?" Referencing what Martin said to Boyd. Now Boyd, when talking to Father Khatri and also thinking out loud, says tip of the spear, mirroring what Martin has said to Boyd. So in my opinion, these two different scenes put right next to each other, Sophia first, Boyd and Father Khatri second, this is to let us know that the darkness in the forest that Martin was talking about is going to happen next. And guess what? It's the red door. The red door is officially what is known as a mystery box. Even though it's not a box, just showing something and not immediately letting us see what's on the other side, or if it's a box, not immediately letting us know what's on the inside, it's a mystery box. So with the mystery box format, they usually let it breathe as far as the idea of this mystery so that we keep thinking about it. And I think episode maybe 9, they're going to finally open the door and let us see what's on the other side. Even though we saw what was on the other side from Jade's vision, I don't think that's exactly what's going to be there. Because, and let's see, yeah, right here's the good one. So remember, I made a thumbnail about this. So for those of you all who were saying, I don't remember the door being red. It wasn't red. So in Jade's vision, it was, I guess this is kind of like a oak wood. And maybe this is cherry wood. Maybe I have them backwards. But basically, this is two different door types. If this is a wooden door, I think it's a wooden door. This is two different. I mean, this right here looks more like it's maybe it could be steel, maybe it's wood. I don't know, but it looks like it's two different doors. So what I think is that the reason why Jade was shown this door and what's behind it in the vision is because the township is showing Jade what it wants Jade to see to get him to uncover and open the door. So this is the door. This is the door from Jade's vision, and this is the actual door right here. Let me make this smaller so y'all can see it. So the actual door is a different color. Well, wait a minute, Jade. If this is based off of your vision, which your vision is supposed to be based off your previous lives plus memory, then the door should be the same color. That's a red flag, y'all. That's a red flag. Which means that what you were shown may not be exactly what it is. So the same way that Sarah got duped, Elgin got duped, now Boyd is getting duped and tricked. No, did I say Boyd? No, Jade is getting duped and tricked by the township. Because like Christopher said, everything lies here. So B. Brock VA says send the golem through the door first. I think that would be a good idea if you could move the golem down the steps all the way to the basement. That'd be a good idea. That way when they open the door, if anything is waiting on them, the golem would be like a barrier. But you definitely need something. And see, unfortunately, because Jay's the only one who saw his vision, I mean, if Jay doesn't remember his vision and say, you know what, the door is a different color, I think that's a sign that maybe the township showed me something different. If Jay doesn't realize that, they're cooked. So I believe that that's the reason why Boyd said, while talking to Vision Khatri, tip of the spear. And Sophia in the previous scene said, do you think it's all just a dream? That is the characters and the writers talking to us, the audience, letting us, this is my opinion, this is all theories, my opinion. That is the characters and the writers letting us, the audience, know the thing that we mentioned that Martin had experienced that you have not seen is because Martin's in the future, and in the future where Martin is, he is living the results of what happens after you open this red door. That's another reason why I believe that when Boyd went through the faraway tree season 1 and ended up in the bottom of the well, he went to the future. And Martin was giving him a heads up. Well, not really giving a heads up, but Martin was speaking about how it was in the future where he was. So the ruins are above ground and the dungeon is underground connected to the tunnels. Even though Boyd used the torch to go to the ruins and go below ground to the dungeon, I think the ruins are a portal no different than the faraway tree portals. And that is how Boyd was able to go back to the dungeon by using the torch. So in theory, Julie probably would be able to story walk by going through the faraway tree, but she doesn't have to. It's almost like she's found a portal that's similar to a faraway tree in the middle of the ruins. So in theory, there should be more areas in the township equivalent to the ruins, unless the ruins are only for that location. But the ruins are a different location from the dungeon. The ruins are above ground and the dungeon is below ground connected to the tunnels. And we know the dungeon has to be there in the main timeline because Boyd used the torch to get below ground where Marielle, Randall, and Julie were being held captive after being possessed by the supernatural cicadas. So I guess like their souls were separated from their bodies. And then when Julie story walks, her soul is separated from her body. It actually, you know what, when you think about it, it could be, the show could go along the lines of that your soul and your body are two different things, but while you're quote unquote alive, they're like combined together. So it's possible for your soul to leave your body and you're split into two. But that's like that's kind of like just a yoga stretch and just a theory as far as that. All right, so I'm gonna be right back, and we'll finish on with going through this Father Khatri stuff. So yeah, I think opening the door is a bad idea, and in my opinion, I think the show just showed us how, based off of the Sophia scene and the Boyd scene, that they're getting ready to open up the door and show us what Martin was telling Boyd about. All right, I'll be right back. All right, all right, all right. Thanks for being patient. One of the downsides to being in the desert, gotta stay hydrated, gotta take breaks. All right, so let's see. So Amanda just okay, so it's the invite to the Discord. Amanda just put it in the comment section. So I'm not saying you have to, but I think Amanda, you have the ability to pin stuff. Cause I mean, you don't have to. I just pinned it, but I haven't really told. I really haven't like said anything, but um, on my channels, Amanda is a managing moderator. So, some of you all are blue, so you're moderators, but Amanda is a managing moderator, which basically means, I'm just reading the definition, because I personally have never been a managing moderator. I've been a moderator in other people's chats, other people's channels. I've never been a managing moderator. So a managing moderator, according to YouTube, has the same capabilities as standard moderators, but they can also manage blocked words, change chat modes and live, and edit settings for video comments and viewer posts. I think you can also pin stuff to the chat. I don't know. I've never been a managing moderator. I've never heard of a managing moderator, but you're a managing I made you a managing moderator like 2025. So you're a moderator, and so basically you can manage. In my understanding, you can also manage the moderators. So I don't know. Unfortunately I can't really explain it because I've never been a managing moderator, but you're a managing moderator, and so maybe you have the ability to pin stuff. I don't know, but I pinned the Discord link. So just to kind of give you a heads up of what that is as far as being a managing moderator, go forth and do great things. All right. And that's on both my channels, both Parkland Media and Spade Parkland TV. So Amanda says, I'm new to Discord. I know I can delete the Discord. Well, so I'm talking about my YouTube channels. Now, as far as Discord, that's a whole different conversation. So as far as my two YouTube channels that I use, Amanda is a managing moderator, basically over the moderators. I don't know what functions you have using your phone or computer or whatever, but so anyway, so there's that. All right, so I think I've laid out the argument again that Martin is in the future, and that what Martin has experienced and was telling Boyd about is in the future, and that's the reason why Sophia made the comment to Henry that Martin made to Boyd, and that's also the reason in the next scene Boyd said tip of the spear and mentioned Martin. That's to let us, the audience, know that what Martin was talking about, we're going to get with this red door. Martin's in the future. The ruins are above ground. The dungeon's underground. No, the man in yellow is not Martin. No, Fatima is not Martin. No, I am not Martin. Martin is his own character. We may not meet Martin by the end of this series because Martin may have also been in another timeline based off of what Julie said with her book club on From's MGM IG. On From's IG. So we may never meet Martin the character, but he may be from another timeline further down the line where he experiences the effect of the red door being opened. And I still believe that Martin is a future version of Jade. So more to follow on that. More to follow on that. All right, so let's see. So that is that. So I think we're supposed to listen to more Father Khatri stuff. But before we do that, so I got an email. I'll have Jade's door as the background. So I got an email on something to look at. Okay, so it comes from. So even though we're doing a research stream on Father Khatri, we'll take a quick pit stop and look at this picture. So I'm going to have to edit the picture to be able to even see it. So I'll show you that in a minute after I edit it. And so the question asked to me by Jessica is picture online AI or real? Oh shit. Um you can barely see what it is. So my first question is, where did this come from? Because so if you're wanting to know, the picture I'm about to bring up, is the picture trash? Yes, the picture is trash. And what I mean by trash is you can barely like understand what you're looking at. So I guess this is supposed to be Sophia in yellow. I don't know. This looks like it's Sophia in yellow. I don't think there's glasses, but then this kind of looks like Jim, maybe Miranda, maybe young Victor. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This may be fan made. So I'll tell you what. I can find out what the picture or where the picture comes from by putting it into Google and reverse searching. So let's do that. Okay, so let's take the picture down. So when putting the picture into Google's AI has given us a question, given us an answer as far as what it thinks as far as the AI. Here's the AI answer as to if this picture is AI or not. So it says this image appears to be this image appears to have been generated by AI. Oh, I'm telling you, people will try to put stuff out there to make you think like something is something and it's not. Yeah. I'm telling you, people probably saw the image and was like, oh my God, Sophie in yellow. No. You gotta pump the brakes. And this is, I'm not talking about, I'm not picking on Jessica or anything who sent this to me. I'm speaking of people who may have saw this image online and was like, this is a clue. All right, so the AI generated image depicts a family of 4 in a vintage style. Matter of fact, let me delete this. In a vintage style. Okay, let me start over. This image appears to have been generated by AI. It is likely a fan-created theory image or a hoax related to the TV series From. Yikes! This AI-generated image depicts a family of 4 in a vintage style resembling a 1970s photograph. It has been circulated online as a supposed leak or spoiler regarding a character known as the Man in Yellow. While some viewers speculated it might be a scene from a new episode, others immediately identified it as a fake or AI-generated creation. So sorry about that, y'all. Yeah. See, that's why I think last time we did a research stream maybe, and I was saying that anytime I see, all right, I'm taking this down. So I think we're good on that. Yeah, I think we're good on that. So anytime I see a thumbnail that doesn't have an image from the show, I'm always like, yeah, this is probably fan fiction. Because there's reaction videos, then there's spoiler videos that are, they say are theory videos or whatever. Then you got your theory videos and your explanation videos. But the ones that hurt the most are the fan fiction videos. Fan fiction thumbnails, fan fiction videos. One time I watched a video and it was a woman talking about crows, and she went on and on about the crows, and it was like, oh, okay, you're doing fan fiction. Because she said that Jim was going to be one of the crows. He was going to be flying in a different direction than everyone else. Watch out for Jim being this crow. And I'm like, there's no way you could have a theory about this, because with the crows, we barely see them on the show. Remember, we saw the crows go into the township for the funeral. We ain't seen crows since. Crows went in for that funeral scene, haven't seen crows since. So it's a lot of stuff that seems to be episodic, but not actual seasonal. So she was going on about these crows, and I was like, oh, this is a really good fan fiction thing, and I think that's what she was doing. So a lot of thumbnails and videos are fan fiction, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. But I think it'd be nice to kind of let people know or give them a heads up. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm telling you I'm going to be explaining something, but it's really fan fiction. Really fan fiction. So there's that. All right, so I think that's all to look up. As far as, yeah, so no more emails. I think that's all to look up. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, Amanda says we haven't seen Smiley and Friends either. Yeah. So for all we know, Smiley may pop up for one more scene, but the monsters are going to continue to be kind of like an afterthought. Yeah, the monsters may end up being like an afterthought. All right, so okay, so let me replace this. All right, so we're going to listen to Boyd and Father Khatri's conversation. But we'll first start off when Boyd was in Donna's room. Okay, this is just the audio of Boyd being in the room with Donna, and Father Khatri decided to join the party.
You remember the night that me, Abby, and Ellis rolled into town?
Yeah. Pretty sure Abby wanted you to shoot me.
You scared the shit out of us, running into the middle of the street like a goddamn lunatic. Then you bring us down to some dugout bunker. And there was Donna. Dale was there too. Remember the first question Donna asked me?
No?
Do any of you snore?
Do any of you snore? That's how bad it was. Because remember, they was in the underground bunker. That's how bad it was. Even snoring, they will hear that and find you and you're dead.
I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. We just heard monsters screeching in the forest and then climbed into a hole, and this lady is talking about snoring. Then she looked at me calm and steady and said, if you snore, they'll find us. Right there in the middle of all the fear, the disbelief, the pants shitting chaos, a little voice in the back of my head said, this one. She knows how to survive. We might be okay.
So we're talking about Boyd's hairline. So Michelle says, who was lining Boyd's hair? I don't think anybody is. Yeah, no one is lining up Boyd's hairline at all. So Facia Diggs says, whatever happened to the pregnant NPC? I want to know too. What happened to the baby? So Mel Ryan says, I don't think Khatri is a ghost. I think he's an agent, illusion of the system who influences Boyd when he faces important decisions, pushing him to act before he fully understands the situation. I mean, I agree. I think whatever the ancient evil that Marielle was talking about may be what Father Khatri really is. So Amanda says the pregnant monster and pregnant house resident hasn't been seen in a while. Yeah, they haven't. So Facia Diggs says Khatri has a nice haircut in his guest appearance. Well, I think it's the same people who dry clean the boy in white's clothes and cleans the monster's clothes, and they're in the cave system. Yeah.
That's what got me through that night. Darkest, scariest night of my life, and she's the one that got me through it. I don't think I ever told her that. We bumped heads in the beginning. She made it very clear that she did not like me at all. No, sir.
So what changed?
I like to think that we got to know each other a little. The answer is I don't have the slightest fucking idea.
Answer to what?
You asked me what I was gonna do if she didn't wake up.
There's time to get these people home.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Father Khatri is he did not come to play. Boyd is talking about Donna. Father Khatri is like, it's time to get these people home. And we're going to go back and listen to what Father Khatri was saying as far as the monsters when he thought Boyd was going to try to trap one, but Boyd was making a memory board.
Look, this might not be the moment to bring this up, but Jade already told you what you need to do. You really just gonna ignore that over a missing door? I mean, the fact that Donna's lying here right now.
Okay, so Father Khatri did not know what tip of the spear meant as far as with Martin. But he knew about what Jade said to Boyd in the sheriff station. So could it be there's something special about the dungeon that prevents Vision Khatri, or prevented Vision Khatri from being able to spy on Boyd? Because Vision Abbey was there. But Vision Abbey was there at the end of season 2, after the music box monster was freed. Did we get Vision Khatri before Vision Abbey? Let me look. Let me check. So, so the question is, did we get Vision Khatri before Vision Abbey? Because because Tom the bartender, we know he visited Jade at the end of season 2 and talked Jade into going into the K system, and he saw the Nkui kids. But did we get Vision Khatri before Vision Abbey? Because if we got Vision Khatri before Vision Abbey, then that means Vision Khatri and Vision Abbey might not be the same thing. But then again, it could be that we started getting the Vision characters after the music box monster was freed. So did we get the Vision characters after I think the answer is yes, because the music box monster was freed season 2, episode 1. So we definitely did get the Vision characters after the music box monster was freed. So did we get the Vision Khatri before Vision Abbey? So Abbey was first. Because okay, if Vision Abbey came first and Vision Khatri came after, because see, Vision Abbey was at the end of season 2. So now, you know what, let me look. Because for all we know, these Vision characters may be the music box monster. Because the music box may have been to call evil things to the music box to control them, but the actual music box monster may have not necessarily been in the music box. It may have just used the music box, and we only like it can shapeshift as well. Like not Man in Yellow shapeshift, but shapeshift as in it could take different forms. So let me look. Let's see. Because Father Khatri, he died, I think, at the end of All Good Things. Let's see. Yeah, so Father Khatri died season 1, episode 7. So I'm gonna put on my theory music for y'all to listen to, so you're not just seeing me go through episodes. Let's see.
And right through here, we have a common area. And downstairs, you'll have a nice big room all to yourself. Come on in.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so Red Star is saying, Amanda, please check your Discord DMs. I'm having trouble with the group chat. Uh-oh. Well, okay, so in the scene we're about to watch, Father Khatri does give Boyd a chess piece. So on one hand, we could say he's not real, but then it's, is he a figment of Boyd's imagination? Okay, right here, the actual scene, pretty good. So Boyd coming out of the bathroom of the post office / sheriff station. Father Khatri.
Say, your options don't look great.
This ain't real.
Okay, so this is the first time that we see, or that Boyd sees, Father Khatri. Because he's saying that it's not real. So it may be a vision. I'm thinking it's a vision, but if it's a vision, it's coming from Boyd's head. Does that make sense, y'all? It's like, if it's a vision, everything that Father Khatri is saying to Boyd is things in Boyd's head. So whatever Boyd knows, the vision should know. So this is season 2, episode 4. So this is after the music box monster. It's the first time we see a vision, and it's after the music box monster was freed, season 2, episode 2. Because that's when Boyd got the torch and left out of the dungeon. So it's possible that Vision Khatri could be the music box monster. And here's my logic. So Abby, who is Boyd's wife, appears at the end of season 2. Yet she could have and should have been able to just pop up and visit him before Father Khatri died. And it would make sense for Abby as a vision to visit Boyd because that's his wife. But Abby doesn't show up till the end of season 2 and basically says for Boyd to not destroy the music box monster. And no, not and. So one of the voices was Abby, according to Sarah, and that was season 1. But that was one of the voices. So Abby may be trapped in town, like everybody else. The music box monster may be able to use their souls and materialize them and use them like it may be doing with Father Khatri. So the vision characters may be avatars for the music box monster. That makes sense? Because if it was, let's say, the Man in Yellow or the Ancient Evil, then it would have made sense to start using Abby as a vision character season 1 to do things such as talk Boyd out of going into the forest, or what else? Yeah, that's the main thing that they did season 1 was Boyd went into the forest with Sarah. So I imagine the vision Abby would have appeared to Boyd and talked him out of going into the forest. And there were several different scenes and instances where Boyd was by himself. So Abby did talk to Boyd through Sarah, but she could have appeared. Now you could say, well, maybe she did appear at the spider's nest, but she didn't appear and talk to him. That was kind of like a version of Abby trying to grab Boyd. So Robert Miller says, what about Boyd's wedding ring? So Boyd is so in season 4, Boyd is wearing Abby's wedding ring, and his wedding ring is in the box that we saw in a previous episode. So when the ring was dropped on Colony House steps, that was Boyd's actual ring. So Milan says she appeared when, yeah. So answering Milan. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Milan, is it Milan or Milan? I think it's Milan. Let me know if I'm saying it right. So Johnson09 is saying she appeared when Boyd destroyed the box. So Abby appeared before Boyd destroyed the box. So Milana says, yes, it makes sense. He should have been seeing Abby. Right. So Vision Abby should have been there season 1 to talk him out of going into the forest. Because when we see Vision Khatri, we see him talking to Boyd and almost like talking him out of doing stuff and almost taunting him. So I imagine that Vision Abby would have been showing up before Vision Khatri, especially season 1. So because we get a Vision character right now, season 2, episode 4, for the first time, and we kind of are knowing that because I went through the episodes, and also Boyd is saying this can't be real. Boyd is not used to getting Vision characters at this point. So, in my opinion, because we're getting a Vision character for the first time after the Music Box Monster has been released, season 2, episode 2, it's reasonable to believe that these Vision characters could be the Music Box Monster. Not the Ancient Evil, not the Man in Yellow, but the Music Box Monster. And then when Boyd destroyed the Music Box, it wasn't destroying the monster, it was destroying a tool of the monster. So Michelle says, what? So Amanda says, I thought Spiderweb Abby was before Ghost Khatri. So she was. Spiderweb Abby was season 1, but it was Spiderweb Abby, not Vision Abby, that actually was talking to Boyd and actually made physical contact with Boyd. So these Vision characters, not only are they talking to Boyd when he's by himself, but they're also, Abby actually touched Boyd. And we're going to see Father Khatri hand Boyd a chess piece. I remember going over this in a previous video. So Mel Ryan says, I like that theory. I think that's what it is. I think the Music Box Monster never went away. It's controlling the Vision characters. And the Music Box Monster told Boyd through Sarah, season 2, episode 10, that it's laughing at Boyd and was excited when it touched Kenny's arm in Kenny's dream. And the Music Box Monster was happy that Boyd brought it back to town, meaning that it was in town before. There's no way you could have the Music Box Monster in the township and it's not wreaking havoc like it was season 2. Season 2, the Music Box Monster was a beast. Say what you want about the Man in Yellow. Say what you want about the Crows and the Monsters. The Music Box Monster was tearing up Paula in her sleep, burning Kenny in his sleep, making Vision characters, controlling the Kimono Woman to try to hold Elgin underwater. The Music Box Monster was a juggernaut for the show From. And that may be the reason why the Music Box Monster was I think it was imprisoned in the dungeon right along with Martin. And that might be the reason why it said that Boyd brought it back to town, because it was put in to the dungeon. And for all we know, the Music Box Monster may have been released when you open up the red door. So the Music Box Monster may have been wrecking shop in the future part of the timeline until somehow it got imprisoned in the dungeon with Martin. So I'm thinking that the music box monster never went away. It just lost the music box that basically controlled other monsters, but that it still is able to use the souls in town, and that's the vision versions that we see. Yeah, so basically the music box monster never went away. It just lost the tool that allowed it to control other monsters. Because remember, when the kimono woman was trying to hold Elgin underwater, the music box was right there. And also, the music box monster was associated with a nursery rhyme. The man in yellow was saying the nursery rhyme on the phone to Kenny in Kenny's dream. And then the boy in white in Elgin's dream or vision, when Elgin had the seizure, was saying the nursery rhyme to Elgin. So the music box monster was like a juggernaut. It was problematic. That music box had to go, but I think the monster never went away. And that may be the reason why it was imprisoned in the dungeon with Martin, because it was just like, it's not like the man in yellow or the monsters. The music box monster was like bypassing talisman stones in your dreams, controlling cicadas. And as a matter of fact, I think the cicadas came from the worms, and that was like separate from the music box monster. So whatever the music box monster actually is, was like a casualty. I mean, it had the ability to destroy an entire town, in my opinion. So I think the music box monster, or whatever it is behind the red door. And so when Boyd brought it back to town, he brought it to the present from the future. So the vision, so the vision Father Khatri is getting Boyd to open up the red door, to perhaps release the music box monster. But I think this is a different timeline than Martin was in. So basically, Boyd brought the music box monster to a different timeline in the past. So now the music box monster will be smarter and may end up making different decisions than it did in perhaps Martin's timeline. Right, the ballerina too. I think the reason why we haven't seen the ballerina at all is because it was controlled by the music box monster. So Michelle says, yeah, I think it's what it is. I'm thinking the music box monster, it never went away. It just lost its tool. Kind of like, okay, when you think about it, think of like a knight. A knight's weapon is the sword. If you take their sword away from them, they can do damage, but it's not like doing damage with a sword. I think that's kind of how the music box monster was. So House of Mystic says each monster has an area it controls. Well, I don't think that is the case. I think each monster has maybe rules and different things it does. Because remember, Randall said the monsters are creatures of habits, but I think the music box monster was just like controlling the whole township. There were no limits, not even your dreams. Whereas the man in yellow, or Sophia in yellow, I think Sophia is infiltrating and instigating stuff and kind of having fun, making people tear each other apart, because Sophia in yellow or man in yellow may have limitations. I think he can bleed, so he can die by conventional methods such as firearms and being stabbed and stuff. Whereas the monsters, they definitely are ruled based because the talisman stones are keeping them from going inside of structures if it's enclosed. Right, Mike says, and Sophia Maniello had a strange reaction to the ballerina figure in the diner storeroom. Yeah, I think the ballerina monster is an actual monster, but it was just being controlled by the music box monster, and that's the reason why we saw it do what it was doing. Because remember, when Boyd first saw the ballerina monster, it was the ballerina monster came out of the root cellar. The music box monster was like right there, playing the music. Then here comes the ballerina. So I think season 2 we saw all of those different types of monsters because it was all controlled by the music box monster with the music box as a tool. Yeah, I think the music box was just a tool, and if they were better equipped, they could have separated the monster from the music box. But I mean, why would you do that unless you're trying to use the music box yourself? So I imagine the music box music was kind of like a telephone. Like, you know how you call someone on the telephone, when it stops ringing, somebody's either picked up or hung up or whatever. I think that's kind of how the music box music was it was basically just like a bat signal calling people. So real life says it seems that when they have visions, it's a trap and no good comes from it. Julie is a key to see what really happened because the curse didn't finish because of the parents, in my opinion. So Julie, based off what she said with her book club, there are timelines. So Julie can maybe see multiple timelines and see what happened, or I think she could see possibilities or whatnot. But yeah, I agree. Julie is a value add to be able to observe. And I agree that no good comes from the visions. So Father Khatri telling Boyd, you got to get these people home, mentioning Jade's door. I think it's a trap.
You're not here.
You want to talk about what can and can't be real? That's the part you want to focus on?
I don't know. I got a little mystery boy sending people through magic trees in the forest.
The boy in white. Yeah, the boy in white told Sarah, you'll be safe in there. He didn't say you both will be safe in there. I think Boyd was sent to be trapped in the dungeon. So Mike says, if the door turns out to be bad juju, Ghost Khatri's motivations will get a lot clearer. Yeah. Yeah, they will. I think it's going to be bad juju behind that door.
My hand's not shaking anymore, but now I got fucking worms underneath my skin. So yeah, maybe that's the part we should talk about.
Or how about we talk about what's really on your mind? How exactly are you going to tell Kenny that Sarah killed his dad?
Whoa! Yeah, Father Khatri is messy. Father Khatri is messy. Well, Vision Khatri is messy. See, now season 4, he's talking about getting people home, but season 2, how are you going to tell Kenny that Sarah killed his dad? Yeah. Vision Khatri means no. Yes. Khatri changing the subject is sus. Right, Mike? I agree. I agree. So Red Star 24 says, it's true. If Boyd had been searching through the tunnels, he wouldn't have saved Donna. You mean past the red door? Like if he went past the red door? Yeah. If that's the case, if that's what you're talking about, then yeah. Because it could have been Boyd's voice that helped Donna wake up, and plus Boyd's the one that gave her CPR. Like Boyd not giving up on Donna, I think is what saved Donna's life. Boyd needs to be an honorary doctorate or doctor. Honorary doctor. Well, okay, so when Kenny, so Kenny, let's see. Kenny found out about so I think later on in the series is when Kenny and Tien Chen find out that Sarah left the door open and killed her dad. Let me look. Let me see. Okay, so in this, let's see. We're watching. Yeah, so actually, believe it or not, but in this same episode, towards the end, well, really off camera, Sarah tells Kenny that she left the door open, and that's what killed his dad. So we'll look at that in a moment. We'll go to that in a moment. As far as answering that question, I think somebody asked. Yeah, Ross7388 says, but didn't Kenny already know about Sarah because he broke her thing her brother gave her? So he's gonna find out after at the end of this episode. Boyd knows, but Kenny does not.
She didn't kill him.
She opened the door, potato. Think Kenny's gonna be interested in the minutia of exactly what happened?
Yep. Kenny's not gonna be interested. So Boyd knows, Father Khatri knows. Okay. So Father Khatri knows that, but didn't know that Martin said tip of the spear to Boyd. But then again, Boyd just said tip of the spear and then explained it to Father Khatri. So Boyd just simply saying tip of the spear doesn't necessarily mean that Father Khatri would automatically know tip of the spear associated with Martin. So for right now, we're going to assume that Father Khatri doesn't know everything inside Boyd's head. So Father Khatri is definitely not a hallucination, because he was not able to read Boyd's mind season 4. So I think that is something we can just hold on to, that Vision Khatri cannot read Boyd's mind. So Vision Khatri can't be a figment of Boyd's imagination, simply because he did not know what Boyd was thinking season 4. So when Vision Khatri hands Boyd the chess piece at the end of the scene, it's real. So Vision Khatri is a real thing. And the Vision Abbey was able to hug Boyd. So not only are they real, they actually are material in this world. Which is a fancy way of saying that they can touch stuff, they can hold stuff.
Let me ask you something. What benefit is there in Kenny knowing that you lied to him, you betrayed him?
I didn't.
You found out the truth about how his father died. You not only spared the life of the person responsible, you gave her your trust, your friendship.
All this was your fucking idea.
Oh, come on, Boyd. Really? It's poor form to blame the dead.
Yeah, so this is not Father Khatri at all. This is not even a hallucination. So I believe the music box monster was a tool. Vision Khatri is real and not a hallucination or a figment of the imagination. So I think the music box monster, this is the music box monster, basically. That's what I'm thinking this is. This is what the music box monster really is. It can not only control monsters, but it can also control the souls of the deceased. So what Jim was when talking to Ethan, music box monster. This, music box monster. Vision Abbey, music box monster. So Rawls says Khatri is Boyd's conscious. Well, okay, so Rawls, this is why I disagree with that. Remember season 4, Boyd mentioned tip of the spear. And he's referring to Martin. Vision Khatri was like, what is that? So if Khatri is Boyd's conscious, Vision Khatri should know, or should have known, what Boyd was talking to. Boyd should not have had to explain to Vision Khatri what he was thinking if Father Khatri or Vision Khatri is a product of Boyd's imagination or conscious. So Miss Win LS says Spider's monster. Well, okay, here's why I don't think it's the Spider's monster, because when we saw Abby in the forest and she was like, I guess Spider Abby or something, she didn't talk and she went away. So I think what we saw in the forest is different than Vision Khatri, Vision Abby, Vision Tom the bartender. So Miss Win LS says, how many legs does a spider have? 8 legs. So that's what I'm thinking. That the Music Box Monster is doing all these vision things, especially to Boyd, because it's taunting Boyd. Now, Jade had a vision Tom the bartender, and I think the Music Box Monster was trying to help Jade continue on the path of story crafting to get to the red door, which would make sense why it took the form of Tom the bartender to continue to persuade Jade to continue on the path of theory crafting to get to the red door we see season 4. And now we see Vision Father Khatri telling Boyd to basically open up the red door. So both Vision Khatri, Vision Tom the bartender, they both were, in my opinion, having the same agenda. So Miss Win LS, where does the number 12 come in? I don't know what you mean by 12. Right, Raw7388 says reason why I said that is because Boyd got the sledgehammer. Khatri had something to do with that. Okay, so he wants Boyd to open the door. Yeah, it's all about getting the red door open, and Boyd would have not been able to open the red door had he have not known about it without Jade continuing on to solve mysteries and eventually take the mushrooms. So House of Mystic says Boyd and Sarah in the forest. Boyd was making marks on the tree for directions, but Sarah looked at the tree and there was no mark on the tree. Yeah, I don't know about that one. So I think the 12 thing is separate from Vision Khatri. Yeah, so Jim saying 12 as far as music notes, and Jade was 12 in the numbers that Jade was searching for. You mean in the pieces of paper in the bottles? So House of Mystics thinks that Boyd is a mental patient. So Michelle says, I'm still holding out hope that either Sarah or Julie will find something incriminating in Sophia's room while they are in their painting. Hope so. I hope so. Somebody needs to out Sophia in yellow. She's doing all the sneaking around. Somebody needs to out her.
You don't understand. I did what I had to do. She was valuable. She may still be valuable.
Oh, yeah. She may very well be of value. Which is why you need to keep your fucking mouth shut.
That's what That's what Donna said to Jim when Jim built the radio tower and was going to Donna saying there was a voice at the other end of it. Donna was like, keep your freaking mouth shut.
Of what value is the truth to Kenny right now? What, do you think he's going to be better off once he finds out? Or will you simply be relieving the burden of your own guilt?
Somehow you being dead made you more of an asshole.
Leaders sometimes have to make tough decisions. Boyd, you of all people know this. What, you want to be everyone's friend? Go be the new bartender. Apparently there's a vacancy. But if you...
So, yeah, Father Khatri died before Tom the bartender died. So if that was Father Khatri's like spirit or something, he shouldn't know that Tom the bartender died. Now you could say, well, maybe he sees everything now and knows everything, but I think that we've established Vision Khatri is real and not a hallucination or a figment of Boyd's imagination, simply because he didn't know what Boyd was thinking when Boyd was talking about tip of the spear and referring to Martin. Now, as far as Tom the bartender, Father Khatri died midway season 1, like a little bit after midway. Tom the bartender definitely died. I think it was episode 1 or 2, maybe 2. No, I think episode 1. I have to look it up. But in other words, but anyway, Tom the bartender died after Father Khatri died.
You want to lead these people home? Sometimes you have to make a shitty decision. I tried telling you this before, you didn't listen. Listen to me now.
I'm not gonna lie to him.
What was that thing Ellis said?
All right, so you saw Father Khatri, he picked up the chess piece. So this is real. Boom, picks it up. It's real. So Father Khatri was trying to be messy. And I think it's because Father Khatri knows that Kenny's going to find out from Sarah, and Boyd would already have known, and that would cause a rift between Kenny and Boyd. That may be the reason why Vision Khatri did not want Boyd to be the one to break the news. Robert Miller says Khatri is straight up gaslighting Boyd. First, he changed the subject and asked if Boyd was going to tell Kenny. Then he told him not to tell Kenny. Right. So why ask him about telling Kenny, but then say don't tell Kenny? I think it's because of what Boyd was asking Father Khatri in the beginning part of the conversation.
About that thing that everyone holds on to?
Yeah, so Amanda says, yeah, Jim did bring up the number 12 before when he was talking to Tabitha. And Jim was writing the stuff on the wall. So I think Jim mentioning 12 in the beginning part of season 1 was foreshadowing to when he brought up the 12 music notes season 3.
That's what you are to Kenny now. You're the father that Kenny no longer has. What do you think happens when you take that away? Broken people don't survive here, boy.
It's not a good time.
Yeah, so this is actually the scene where Jim goes to Donna and is like, "Hey, we heard a voice on the other end of the radio," and Donna's like, "Keep your freaking mouth shut." So I'm not gonna play it, but yeah, this is the scene. Keep your freaking mouth shut. So it's like Father Khatri said it to Boyd, and Donna saying it to Jim. These scenes, I tell you the truth, these scenes. Yeah. So Red Star 24, maybe there will be 12 survivors if the show ends somewhat happy. Well, okay, who would you want the 12 survivors to be? Probably the main cast. I mean, it's like, what, 20 people in the main cast? I think the fandom would be happy if 12 people from the main cast were to survive. And that is Victor, Ethan, Jade, Boyd, Kenny, Sarah, Clara, Donna, probably Ellis, Fatima, and Christy, and maybe Marielle. Oh, then you got Julie. So take Marielle off of it because you got Julie. So it may be Marielle and Randall not surviving if they're going to go with 12. I think everybody else likes the rest of the characters on the show. I don't know. So it would be befitting if Tabitha and Jade didn't make it, but I think Jade making it and Tabitha not, people would be happy with that. I don't think too many people like Tabitha. But to be honest with you, I mean, the idea of 12 surviving, I think is going to be where, I still think it's going to be Julie and Ethan surviving, for sure. Everyone else is kind of, I can see them sacrificing themselves to save someone else. So Miss Win LS says maybe there will be 12 people who sacrifice their teddy bears. Could be. But my thing is, why just 12 people? Because I imagine that if they're successful with eternal life, they would more than likely throughout time recruit other people to have eternal life as well to build up their ranks. But I don't know. I mean, when it comes to the monsters, we don't see many monsters. And then the scene where Smiley is being reborn, there weren't that many people. So I think we have enough to come to a conclusion that the music box was a tool. The music box monster never went away. Vision Khatri is real and not a hallucination or a figment of Boyd's imagination. I think the goal of Father Khatri or the Vision Khatri is to get the red door opened. And we got Vision Khatri before Vision Abbey. So that pretty much satisfies that as far as the research that I wanted to do. So let's see. So I think bad news, y'all. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the research. I got what I need in case I want to do a video. I think it's time to do a chit chat stream. Are you all okay with a chit chat stream? Let me know. Oh, so Michelle says, yeah, this was a research stream. It's not like this wasn't a show or anything. I'm stuttering. This wasn't a show or anything. It was just a research stream to answer the question, what is the goal of Vision Khatri? And to find out some stuff going on with that. I have what I need because when I make videos, I try to focus on what's on the show and not, or try to limit going outside of From as a show to get information, just because it's easier to digest if I'm like showing screenshots or showing clips from an episode versus pulling up Google and reading off this and reading off that. To manipulate, there it is. Yep, there it is. So Jessica says, I'm done with chit chat. No more chit chat for Jessica. Nothing wrong with that. I understand. Yeah, I pretty much do the chit chat stream just to hang out, and then if people want to keep the chat open to talk amongst themselves, they can do that. I mean, now that we have Discord, it's not really necessary, but some people may not feel comfortable with the Discord, and they may not feel comfortable with the group email. So having a live stream chit chat may be their thing, or they may just be like, hey, Spade, when you're not like on screen showing whatever, then we'll just go away and go somewhere else. So Mike says, these research streams are a neat way to look into my perspective. Yeah. So like if you all are saying something in the chat, whether on a show, pre-show, or a stream, or a comment section or whatever, it's not that I'm discounting what you're saying or ignoring it. It's just that I try to limit what is outside of the show to explain the show, because, and let me show you what I mean. Let me show you something. This is kind of what I mean. Okay. So this is the Pacific Ocean. So let's say we're talking about From, the show, the episode is about the Philippine basin. Philippine basin right here is the episode. Now it's possible to Google search something that we see on the show and say that maybe it's something else. It's possible to do that. So in doing that, let's say the show is showing us worms, and someone says, well, I think those are like German worms, for example. So the show showed us just simply worms and what was involved with worms. We saw them in Boyd. It cured his Parkinson's, or at least stopped it at least. We saw the worms kill Smiley. So the show demonstrated to us how the worms get transferred from one person to the next. And it also showed us the effect of the worms and how the worms turned into cicadas when put in the Smiley and also kill Smiley. So if someone says, well, I think those are German worms, the show did not communicate to us that they're German worms. So saying that they're German worms is like going to the Hawaiian Ridge when the show showed us Philippine Basin. Or if someone's like, well, based off how the worms were underneath Boyd's skin, there are worms just like that in somewhere in Africa, in the continent of Africa. That's like going to the Gulf of Alaska when the show just showed us Philippine Basin. One more example. Let's say that you say, or let's say that the conversations about the boy in white having white clothes. That's the Philippine Basin because we saw that on the show. But then somebody may say, well, I think his shirt is a polo shirt made by Ralph Lauren. And the Ralph Lauren shirts in the past were associated with Nationalist Socialist Party and Germany. So the boy in white is a member of the Nationalist Socialist Party. That is Middle America Trench that we just did. Nothing wrong with a stretch or a yoga stretch. It's just that you see how you can take one thing from the show and kind of come to a conclusion where you're going down a rabbit hole and you're all the way over here when the show just showed us with a white shirt and some shorts over here. So that's why I kind of focus on what's in the episode so that we keep it over here in the Philippine Trench or Philippine Basin, as opposed to saying something like Jade's coat that he's wearing is the same kind of coat that they sell in Finland. So Jade is part of the Finland country, and in Finland, when they're solving mysteries, they tap into dark forces similar to Finland's Black Tribe. So the show is about Finland's Black Tribe. And it's over here, that's Tiki Basin, which you said is not bad, but the show gave us Philippine Basin over here. So I'm just like, you know what? That's just a jacket that he's wearing. You could go down a rabbit hole about the origin of the jacket, the different countries that the jacket may belong to, the gang and the occult group associated with the jacket. But as far as me, I'm just like, it's just a jacket. So I don't believe in any wrong answers or wrong theories. I do believe in bad data in, bad data out. But I try to focus on it being what's on the show, even with doing the yoga stretch, and mainly the yoga stretch, and the stretching is just to kind of connect it to an idea based off of a couple of ideas on the episode. And that's why I kind of used at least two scenes of Vision Khatri to come up with, oh, well, he's more than likely real because he held the chess piece, and he's not a hallucination or a figment of Boyd's imagination because he didn't know about Martin that was in Boyd's head, and that's who Boyd had an actual scene with. And that's how I kind of came to the conclusion the music box monster never went away as far as the theory. And I'll probably add some more stuff from different plot points of the show. So Mike is correct. This research stream just shows you kind of how I think. But just because someone doesn't think like me or comes to a different conclusion doesn't necessarily mean someone else is wrong. It's just that this is kind of how I formulate my thoughts when it comes to the videos and stuff. So Amanda says, I love the yoga stretches. We all do. Right. Michelle says, German worms. See? Miss Win LS leeches. So Red Star 24, I feel targeted. I like history and will go down rabbit holes. I like history and rabbit holes too, but I think it's kind of, should we go? There's nothing wrong with a history lesson. I mean, if somebody wants to throw Baphomet on you or convert you to Buddhism, nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, just say that. Don't take what happened as far as Philippine Bassin, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, because it's reincarnation in the show, everybody's reincarnated. And you know what? To get out of this reincarnation cycle, they got to look at Buddhism. I'm like, I think it's just Jade and Tabitha who are reincarnated, because that's all who has been to the township multiple times and can remember who they come from. And they're the only ones seeing the ghoulish children. If everyone else was a reincarnate, it's like, well, what indicates they were reincarnated? Now you could say, well, I got a feeling. Okay, cool. Make your video, make your comment. Okay, cool. But I'm going to go with the Philippine Bassin as far as this is what they said. This is what they can see. This is what we've experienced while watching it. I'm going to focus on what I can show on the screen in the episode. Whereas if someone's like, no, it's Buddhism. It's Buddhism. Everyone's been reincarnated. Julie is the reincarnated version of Eloise. Okay. I see nothing wrong with that. Ole, 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 ole. I say ole all day. But that's just how I think. I just focus on what's on the screen and keep it simple, because it's possible to go all the way out here to Tiki Bassin and then Middle America Trench and then 120 up here. And then, it's only like 1 or 2 lines of Philippine Bassin. Like it gets to a point where it's like, okay, it's just fan fiction. It's just fan fiction. So, see, B. Brock VA, it's Hinduism. So, it's Hinduism, it's Fae, it's Fairy, it's Baphomet, it's, what else? Wicca, it's a old maid tarot card game, it's the U.S. Marine Corps experiments that they did because Martin was a Marine. Martin's been in there for years. The Marine Corps has done experiments for years, like on that movie where they had George Clooney staring at goats, men who stare at goats. So the show is about the government taking soldiers taking Marines, having them stare at goats, and they have powers. From is about men who stare at goats, have powers. That is the show. See how quickly it can just kind of turn into George Clooney staring at stuff? And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just kind of how I think. I'm just like, okay, we saw Alma the goat. We really haven't seen Alma the goat since season 3, episode 1, when the livestock was taken outside the barn. We did see a goat in the barn scene with Jim being strung upside down, the hanged man. Okay, cool. But then somebody else will say, well, maybe Alma the goat brought Victor food while he was young, left, went on vacation, and then Boyd brought it back from vacation early, and that's the reason why Alma the goat is now in town. I'm like, okay. Okay. See, Michelle says, I don't think it's far-fetched to think all of the people there have been there previously. See, right there. Nothing wrong with thinking that. My only thought is, if everybody is reincarnated, how is only 2 people seeing the kids, the ghoulish children, and what would indicate everybody's been reincarnated? Now, you might say, well, I think Victor's been there before because the crayons that he uses are the same crayons used in ancient Kemet that was before Egypt. So therefore, Victor has been using hieroglyphics in ancient Kemet, and that's how Victor is reincarnated. And I'm like, you know what? If a lot of people like your video or like your comment, more power to you. More power to you. More power to you. Michelle says Sarah saw the boy in white. So I think Sarah heard the boy in white. Not necessarily. But then again, she did call him the boy in white. So, and that was when talking to Boyd season 2, episode 10. So maybe Sarah can see the boy in white. I mean, she did call him the boy in white. And then also when Victor mentioned the boy in white, Sarah said, oh, you know, the boy in white. So Sarah can hear and see the boy in white. So when you think about it like that, maybe Sarah is reincarnated. But then that would mean Victor is reincarnated. Ethan's reincarnated. Let's see, who else? Christopher. Well, we know Christopher and Miranda and Tabitha and Jade are reincarnated, but everyone who has seen and heard the boy in white, are they reincarnated? Well, Julie could not see the ghoulish children. Julie could use the faraway tree. Maybe because Julie can use the faraway tree, she's reincarnated. I think everything is possible. So Michelle says, but it's possible. So Michelle, I think everything is possible. I think everything is possible. I just like hearing the logic as to why. Like, get me from what's directly mentioned and shown in the show. Help me stretch to Los Angeles. That's all I ask. It's possible. Help me fill in the blanks and get me to LA. Help me do it. Help me do it. That's all I ask. So when I'm reviewing videos and I'm like, how do you come to this conclusion? So House of Mystics, Randall. Do you think Randall story walked? Well, we saw Randall walk in the middle of the ruins when he was with Julie, and Randall did not story walk. So I think ergo, I don't think Randall can story walk. He told Julie it's time to go home and ran into the woods. Yeah, so I think if Randall walked into the middle of the ruins and nothing happened, that's pretty much it, in my opinion. Now, it's possible maybe it's another way to story walk. Maybe it's several ways to story walk. Maybe Julie going to the middle of the ruins works for her because Boyd did go to the dungeon by going through the faraway tree. So, there's that. All right, so I'm gonna you know what, y'all? I said it was a chit chat stream. I think I'm gonna get something to eat instead. Yeah, I'm gonna leave because see, I could just start the chit chat stream and let you all talk, but well, let me know. I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll. All right, so it's like 30 people in here. So I did a poll. And so the poll is, do you want a chit chat stream if I am not there? We have a Discord now. So I'll let you all decide as far as that. So Milan says you can eat and we can regroup later. You deserve a break. I appreciate that. Only thing is, so I'm actually going to watch a movie called Masters of the Universe. And that's gonna kind of consume my Friday night. And then I try not to do anything on Saturday because I get my From episode Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time zone, where everybody else gets at midnight on Eastern. And I gotta get in position with my notepad and everything. I gotta make sure that it's not gonna be any noise and stuff. So I try to leave Saturday as something where I just don't even really do anything as far as like online to prepare. I have to mentally prepare for what Boyd and the gang are going to be getting into. Those crazy kids. I got to get prepared for what those crazy kids are going to be doing. I think the Red Door is going to be open episode 9. I'm hoping I'm wrong and they do it before. Yeah, so House of Mystic says, nah, we have Discord if we want to chit chat. Yeah, that is true. That is true. So Robert Miller says, you are by far the best from... You know what? I appreciate that. I try. I think what it is that other people are just kind of focused on... they really don't want to do more than what they're doing. And they're like, it's just enough. Because the chit chat is just us kind of kicking back and just relaxing. The research stream is where you can see me coming up with a video idea in real time. Sometimes I'll make one, sometimes I won't. And you all can even add your 2 cents, and I of course consider it. And then I do the pre-show because I don't really like streaming on Parkland Media, but I just do that to get everybody together, then redirect over here for the show. So yeah, I try to, come up with ideas as far as having a product. And then once From is over with, as far as the season, my plan is to do From and the membership to react to stuff and continue on with the theories and stuff. That may last until season 5. Who knows? And then I'm going to be doing some other stuff where it's same format. We're doing a pre-show and a show for maybe like movies and television shows. We'll just see. So Mike says Spade is ace. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, so I saw a movie called Scary Movie 6. Do not watch that. It is beyond trash. So that's how I spent my night last night. And then I'm going to do Masters of the Universe. It's got He-Man, so I'm going to see that. And Then also there's like the NBA Finals. I may catch that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna. So I see at 8 votes, 62% say no, 38% says yes. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it with the research stream. I found out what I was trying to figure out, and hopefully you all are able to formulate an opinion as far as this vision, Khatri. And then also we talked about the Martin connection. Two scenes, one right after the other. Sophia saying that comment to Henry. And then as far as what Martin said to Boyd. And then Boyd saying to Father Khatri what Martin said to Boyd. I think we have enough to say that, to believe that Martin's in the future. And what Martin was referring to is what happens after you open up that red door. So I think we accomplished some good things. And also we saw that AI picture that I think it was Jessica sent that. And it, according to Google AI, it's a hoax. So yeah, man, it says see you all on Discord. Yeah, see you on Discord. So Hillman 3, Scary Movie 6 just looks like trash. It is. Calling it trash is not even the best way to describe it. There's a couple of scenes that I don't know. The people who made Scary Movie 6, we got to check their computer. Because there's a scene where they have a teddy bear holding a adult bear's parts. And I saw that and was like, wow. All right, so thank you everybody. So where's the Discord link? I can post it right quick. Yeah, everybody thank Amanda because she's taking time out to make the Discord and didn't have to. It's just a place for people to kind of to hang out and talk whenever there's not a live stream or anything. All right, so okay, the Waynes are in the movie. But yeah, it definitely was trash. I knew it was gonna be bad, but I didn't know it was gonna be atrocious. All right, so I pinned the link to the Discord in the chat for anybody who wants to go there and enjoy that. Thank you for joining me on this research stream. I appreciate it. I don't know when next time I'm gonna do a pre-show and a show, so more to follow on that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.